This is the story of the darkest hour. Hey, you like this? Guess what? This right here is darker and lighter than the movie The Darkest Hour. Let's see here. I'm gonna turn on the fucking light. I just had to do something stupid for a change. Oh, fuck. I'm gonna warn you guys, this might turn out bad because I'm in a really bad mood, and I'll explain why in a second. I have water here, but even better, I am going to consume wine while doing this review because I have a bottle I need to get rid of. Get rid of wine, or I need to get rid of wine. And I'm just gonna drink that, just try and ease my pain. I'd drink something stronger if I had it. Oh, God. Okay. I guess, yes, it's the new year. It's 2012. And a couple of new movies that were coming out that I wanted to go see. I met a friend who I haven't seen in a year to go rewatch actually, Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, a film that I'd already seen once the week before New Year's with my mother. And I really liked Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. In fact, I liked it even more the second time. But god damn it, I felt like, oh man, the first movie I go to see in the cinema this year is going to be a movie I've already seen. Well, okay, then I guess The Darkest Hour will become the first movie I go to see. And so it would have been. You see, there were two movies coming out this Friday that I really wanted to see. One was The Darkest Hour, and the other was the Michael Fassbender, Steve McQueen, I think is their second collaboration film, Shame, which is about a sex-addicted, like, I don't know if we ever really get to find out what he is. Like, he's some sort of, like, not broker, but he's an office dude in Manhattan. And, well, I wanted to go see both these films, and The Darkest Hour was the one I wanted to get out of the way first, which meant that would be the first movie I went to see. So Friday night after work, I decided I'll order a ticket to The Darkest Hour. I'll go home, eat dinner, I'll go back into town, I'll watch The Darkest Hour, I'll come home, and then on Saturday, which is today by the way, I'll go see Shame and get some real culture, and get something that you can actually call deep or call, you know, important film. And so I went to the theater at 9:40 in the evening, the biggest screening in the biggest movieplex here in Central Stockholm. Which I go to it a lot, but I tend to, when possible, to choose a smaller venue because the smaller venues get less visited, like less crowded. Even though the screen might be a little smaller, it usually makes up for it with better atmosphere because there are less idiots. Because the funny thing is that the biggest place obviously attracts the most idiots, but what's funny is how extreme the difference is. But today, the only screening of The Darkest Hour, like the screen difference was like going from the biggest screen in the biggest movieplex to one of the smallest screens and one of the smaller, I think it's the second biggest one, but you get my point. From a screen that's called Screen 1, which holds 520 people, to one that's Screen 8 in a smaller theater, which I think hold about maybe 100 is probably too much. I think around 70 people. So yeah, the screen difference is really big. So anyway, Friday night, I'm sitting in the theater, waiting for this movie to start, watch the trailers, sitting there, you know, I paid extra for more leg room, which means that I'm 6'2", and I'm sitting in this chair, and it's so like far to the seat, like the row in front of me, that even if I fucking like stretch my feet out, I can't reach the chair with just like a couple of inches. For perfect placement, I got the best seat in the house. I'm great. I love it. And then something goes wrong. The movie screen goes black, or green. It goes green, like Kermit or Shrek green. It like flickers and shit. And then a guy comes out, like an usher comes out. We don't have ushers like in the United States, but we obviously have personnel that man ticket people. But they're not ushers that, you know, do all the usher things that American ushers tend to do, it seems. I think mainly it is because Sweden has it has we have, you know, no, like numbered seats, which means that we don't have to we don't have fights when it comes to who gets the best places or something. But I think we're getting more to the American system of having ushers. They don't have flashlights, basically what I'm talking about. But of course they're the ones that kick people out if people get rowdy or shit. But anyway, an usher comes in and starts saying, there's something wrong up in the projector room, we're just going to wait a couple of minutes. And it ends up with him coming in, he goes away, and like he comes back a couple of minutes later, like we sit there and people get rowdy and they start flipping, playing with their phones and doing all this stupid shit. And then he comes back a second time and says there's still something wrong, just to, you know, show that we're aware that nothing's happening here. To which point some fucker in the audience, of course, says, well then you have to stay here and keep us company and entertain us. And I'm like, oh, you fucking asshole. I mean, I work in a grocery store. I know how asshole-like people can be. And I felt like right away, oh my god, just because someone said that, he has to do it. He can't say no and run away, because you can't do that. But to make a long story short, we spent an hour in that theater without any movie playing. It was, by the time I finally got, like, it ended up with him standing on that stage for, I think, at least 40 minutes, playing clown, taking questions, being just an overall, like, I eventually, like, when they settled that we're not going to be able to fix the 3D, it was specifically the 3D thing that did not work, because today, when I went to see The Darkest Hour, they had switched theaters. There was something wrong with the booking system. I was going to go watch the movie tomorrow. I had a previous engagement tonight. I was just going to go pick up my ticket because I ordered a ticket online and you have to pick it up the day before. Like the day after you order the ticket, you have to pick it up. Otherwise, it becomes void and they can sell it on. So I was just going in there. I'm going to use my ticket to buy this movie. We got two free passes. And I was going to use one of the free passes to pay for this horrible movie. Which I, at this point, pretty much have accepted as divine intervention. God's telling me, this is not the first movie I want you to see in 2012. You gotta watch a better movie. But then I go up there. I've already planned this out. I can't go to the movies twice on Saturday because I have a previous engagement in the evening. And as I'm standing there and I get my ticket, I'm like, wait, what the fuck? This ticket's for Saturday. This is for today. I ordered a ticket for tomorrow. I show the guy my cell phone the text message that it was auto-sent when I ordered my ticket. It says Sunday. It says the right thing. But because the screen, like the biggest screening room is still, like, on their auto system, like, ordered up as being broken, everything has been so mixed up. Automatically, it printed out a ticket for the next showing of the film, which was it was 9:40 of the night I got the ticket out. And as I'm standing there and they're trying to fix this, I get like a text from my friend that I had the engagement with, and he says, "Oh, we can't do what we're gonna do." So I'm like, okay, fine. I guess and also at this point, the guy that was working the previous night, the guy who gave me the free passes, the one who was like entertaining everyone, has come in to help the clerk that's serving me to try and fix this. And I feel so bad for this guy. Like, when I got my ticket from him, there were 4 people handing out free passes to the 500 people in the audience. And I specifically went up to this guy, chose him, because I needed to tell him how fantastic he was. I had to give him a pat on the fucking shoulder and say, dude, you were amazing. You handled that like a fucking pro. And like I gave him the exact same spiel today when I saw him and when he came to help the guy that was serving me. I was like, dude, you were the man last night. You got to hear so much shit. I just need you to know that you were amazing. But he started like making calls trying to fix this, and I get this text and I'm relieved. I'm like, you know what, dude? I've already fucked with you enough, and this movie has ruined enough for the both of us. I can go to this fucking screening. I will go see The Darkest Hour today. And I think they were all just relieved. I'm like, okay, fine, I'll go see this horrible fucking piece of shit, get it out of the way. But god damn it, I felt so sorry for that dude. And this entire experience, having wasted an hour of my life, I mean, I waste more money than I would like to. Like, I would have been able to pay for 5 years in film school by now if I just stopped wasting money. But lately I've been at least reining it in, but I still go to the movies because I feel like that's the one thing I need to do. I need to keep watching film because if I don't watch films, I'm not updated with what's going on. Same thing as reading movie magazines, stuff like that. But even bad movies, because bad movies make you think about with mistakes you would not want to make. A bad movie can actually help you more than a good movie can, I would like to say. But, oh, what am I trying to say with this? So I went to see this horrible movie just because I felt I needed to see it. Like, even though I should have just taken the sign that I was getting from somewhere that you should not see this movie. It's not good. But at least I got to see Shame first, the Michael Fassbender movie. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that before we get really into the darkest hour. Shame was a film that kind of disappointed me as well. I really liked it, but well, not really liked it, but I liked it. I liked parts of it a lot and other parts not so much. I'm not going to go in deep with this. I'm just going to give a brief overview. It's a movie about Michael Fassbender plays a guy named Brandon, who is I guess you could call him not even successful, just a semi-successful, or just he works in an office building in New York, and it's obvious that he has a sex addiction. He can't look at any attractive women without just fantasizing about having sex with them. He I think the first thing he does in the film is pay a prostitute to have sex with him, and he relishes when he tells her to take off her clothes slowly, and all this stuff. He masturbates all the time and walks around his apartment naked and ignores everything that has to do with any sort of real emotions. Yeah, it was an interesting film. It was slow. It was slow. And at certain points, the speed of it, the slow build-up was kind of earned, and other parts it kind of felt like it was a little bit boring. I don't want to say that because that makes people that are pretentious make me feel like I'm an idiot. They'll call me stupid, say, you didn't understand it. But again, I liked it. But the thing is, the problem is that Michael Fassbender's character, Brandon, never really earns that thing that makes you feel sorry for him. It almost feels like, to make his turmoil obvious, they needed to have Carey Mulligan, who plays his little sister Sissy, come in and be she's the more sympathetic character. She's the one that shows more emotions, and it's obvious that both of these two are fucked up. Their childhoods must have been terrible. You never get to see what's going on or anything like that. Why Brandon is so reluctant to even really want to acknowledge. He acknowledges Sissy in the way that he feels responsible for her and lets her stay under his roof, reluctantly so. But whereas she is just trying to sort of show how much he cares about him, he just tries to wave it off as if it's a disturbing connection he doesn't really want to have. And at the end of the film, what I like the most about the film, because the third act, when everything really does start to sort of fall apart, that's where the film really gets good. That's where I gave this movie a 4 out of 5 when I rated it on my movie database I go to. A very, very weak 4 that I might, after consideration, even turn down to a very strong 3. It was really one of those very seesaw moments where it's really tipping the scales. Is it a 3? Is it a 4? I don't really know. But I think the end, the third act was what made the movie good. What really made it special and made what it was trying to show better. And it was there were points the last, I think, 5 scenes all feel like the film could end with them and it would work. In fact, I actually like the very last scene very much at first, but at the same time, it kind of feels like it's such an obvious thing you might want to put in a film that I kind of almost would have wanted if you didn't even have it in there, because it is a callback sort of to the beginning of the movie where he makes where he makes a choice and fails, and then he sort of gets a second chance at that, and because you don't really know if he's learned anything, and the film doesn't even tell you. It's not really spoiling anything as much as saying that this film has an open ending, an ending open for interpretation, where you get to make up your own mind about what you think will have happened. And at that point, it's good, but again, not fantastic in any way. The best thing about this movie is the acting. It's Fassbender's great. And Carey Mulligan, who in everything I see her, she definitely keeps on just, you know, strengthening the hold around my heart as just a fantastic actress that can really convey both seriousness and just this innocence, but at the same time, flawed innocence. She's just a great actress, and I have a lot of movies here I haven't seen her in yet that I really feel like I should. I haven't seen her in Education, which I happen to have a copy of, but I've seen her in Never Let Me Go, I've seen her in this, I've seen her in other stuff too that I can't just, like, you know, I haven't seen Wall Street Money Never Sleeps yet, but basically that's because I almost feel like at this point I want to see Wall Street and Wall Street Money Never Sleeps back to back, and that's a 4.5 hour or like 5 hour commitment. Yeah, I think that's all I want to say about Shame. It's a great movie, but I think a lot of people might actually overstate how good that movie is just because of the fact that the subject matter is so different, that it is such a slow-paced movie. It's one of those films that if, like, I was the youngest person in that crowd. It was one other person I was sitting there thinking, maybe she's my age, maybe she's, like, a year younger, or she's probably 2 or 3 years older. But other than that, there was no one even near. Like, I was probably, along with that other girl, the only people under 30 in that movie theater, and probably under 35 even, if I'm going to be really honest. And like, if I were to stand up at the end of that movie and say, that movie got better reviews than it deserved, I probably would have gotten a fair share of like, you're too young to understand it, you're stupid. And that's fine, but you know, again, it's a pretentious movie in a lot of ways that protects it more than I think it almost deserves. Go see it if you want to. It's definitely an interesting film that takes its time to build up and show some stuff, but at the same time, depends on your mood, and I sort of wanted to, I almost wanted to go see it more because I felt I had to than I actually wanted to go see it because I was interested in the subject matter. Same thing with Darkest Hour. Darkest Hour was a movie I wanted to go see because it looked so terrible that I kind of feel like I want to have a definitive, these are the worst movies of the year. And The Darkest Hour, which we are now jumping to by the way, definitely holds a place in that list. I actually took a few notes here, which I'm going to try and like sort of get off. Point by point, at least in the start. So it's gonna. This is stuff that came up when I was sitting on the bus and I was really angry after this movie. So yeah, I'm just gonna try and like get some of these bullet points out of the way first, just so it might be a little unstructured. I'm not gonna do a complete analysis of the film's plot, but I will probably spoil some. But I will warn when that comes. Okay, so let's get to The Darkest Hour. The reason why I'm standing here today, so angry as fuck with wine. Yes, that is a fucking plastic bottle, so it won't break. I can hit it over my head, and it won't do a damn thing. Okay. First of all, The Darkest Hour, I've heard people criticize the effects of the trailer for this movie, and yeah, the effects of it, if you don't know what this movie is, and no, I'm not going to spend time editing. More people keep requesting that I start editing in trailer footage, and I might eventually start doing that, but guess what, I'm too tired, and this is not the fucking movie that's going to make me make an effort with these videos. Anyway, like, basically the effect is that the aliens are invisible. They're invisible aliens, and what happens is, the aliens want our energy or something, so they disintegrate people. They make people into black ashes, and they just make you. They disintegrate you. You get what I'm saying. Like the movie, like if you watch the trailer, it begins with a couple of cops, like with the main characters standing outside a nightclub, and they're like shooting at these invisible alien things. They're taking out this baton. And the baton just like gets disintegrated, and then the guy just twirls around in a tornado and disappears and just turns into a little black ash. Because these aliens are invisible, and you see like a little orange like flicker every once in a while, but otherwise they're invisible. And the only way to see them is they sort of like, they make electronics go haywire when they're close. So like if you have a cell phone nearby, it will start like going and like do ring signals and stuff like that when the aliens are nearby, or like, you know, light bulbs, which are most of the movie's effect. It's like if the light bulbs are out when the aliens come around, it'd be like this. Ooh, oh shit, the aliens are close. And god damn it, that's this movie's biggest problem. It's the last thing I have written here. Which is that this is pretty much, like, there's only one action movie I can say that I've seen, or like science fiction or whatever you want to call it, sci-fi horror, that really has a worse like premise if you just say it out loud. This is the dumbest thing since Marky Mark ran away from leaves in The Happening. Like, I almost wish this movie had a scene where Emile Hirsch was looking at a fucking big light bulb being like, we just want to leave, just be mellow, we just want to just hang out a little bit, and then we're gonna go. That almost would have made this movie fun. Because we're just gonna, like, before I even get into the plot, this movie does the one thing you don't want your science fiction movie to do. Like, even The Happening is better than this movie. And yes, I can't believe I'm saying this, but it's true. Because this movie is fucking boring. Say what you want about The Happening, at least you can make fun of it. And maybe I would have had fun if I was sitting on a couch with some friends. But even in a movie theater, I could chuckle at how stupid Mark was, and this whole fucking premise of them running away from leaves, and fucking John Leguizamo sitting down in the middle of the road and cutting his own wrists because the spores tell him that he should kill himself. This movie doesn't have any sort of, like, you know, unintentionally funny moments. It doesn't have any intentional funny moments. Basically, if you want, I could summarize the reason why I went to see this movie with 2 words, 2 names. Olivia Thirlby, who plays Juno's slutty best friend, or for me, the most important thing she's done is actually the Brett Ratner segment of New York, I Love You, where she plays a girl who's, like, in a wheelchair. She's cute, and then they're like, okay, this movie looks really, really bad. It looks like I could laugh at it some. It has the Swedish actor Joel Kinnaman in it, which is kind of cool, I guess. And Olivia Thirlby is really, really hot, so I guess that will make up for it. And it did to a certain extent. It sort of did, but oh god, no, this movie was so boring. I thought it would be stupid. I thought I could laugh at it, but I couldn't even do that. I could sigh at it, but I couldn't laugh at it. I actually have okay, well, I'm going to get into the review now, but I want to defend the effects somewhat. Because this movie had, I checked this up on the way home, that this movie had a budget of $30 million. It will make its it will make its budget back. I'm pretty sure about that. But still, $30 million is not a lot. So I get why you didn't have, like, why the aliens are non-existent, why you don't see them, and you get to see them a couple of times later on, but they're really bad. The effect is really bad even then. But I think the disintegration effects are kind of okay. The ashes that basically the main characters in the beginning of the film, this is not really a spoiler either, really, is like, of course they come out into the streets after the big mayhem has happened and all the people have died. And a lot of the places that are, like, covered in ashes, it looks like, you know, if you ever seen, like, you know, these plants that have, like, hangings with white fuzz on them that, like, have seeds and spores in them, it kind of looks like everything is just covered in white white fuzzy plant spores. And that is not a good effect when you're trying to go for ashes. Like, when I think of ashes, like, done right, I think of Gears of War, like in Gears of War 3, when they're, like, ash statues and like everything really is gray and looks more dilapidated. I guess that's what this movie is going for, but it kind of doesn't really work, not all the way at least. So where the fuck was I? Okay, I'm gonna get into the characters. So this movie is about a group of 4 kids plus Joel Kinnaman's character running away from these invisible aliens that just happen to show up in the middle of, like, when they're in the nightclub. The main 2 characters, 2 guys, are played by Max Minghella, I think his name is, who is Divya Narendra, or I think it's Narendra, Divya Narendra from The Social Network, who is the partner of the Winklevoss brothers, who gets screwed over. You know, he gets screwed over because Mark Zuckerberg stole the idea for Facebook. And he plays pretty much the exact same character. Oh god. If in time had the guy who played Bryce Larkin doing the exact same thing by giving someone a gift that alters their entire existence, then I wonder if Max Minghella's, like, entire, like, typecasting is going to be that guy who gets screwed over in a deal for a big media thing. Because here, he and Emile Hirsch are trying to make this online database for backpackers, so that if you're a backpacker, you will, no matter where you are, be able to pull up this thing called globetrot.com and just, you know, pick up the phone and just see, through this app, see the hottest nightclubs in whatever city in the world you're in. Which just proves I'm not that guy. I'm not a clubber. I have ear issues to a certain extent, which makes it really hard for me to go out where there's loud music and especially yelling girls. But even before I had that kind of problem, I was never the clubbing type. I was never the kind of guy that wanted to go out, find girls to have promiscuous sex with, and just hang and be stupid and drunk. I know I've insulted almost every other human being on the planet that's my age by saying that, but that has never been my scene. I'm the guy that sits at home and watches movies. I'm the guy who went to see The Darkest Hour on Friday night and didn't get to see The Darkest Hour and decided to, well, what can I do now? Oh, well, I'll just go home. And go back and see the movie the next day. Fuck. Oh, God, I'm a fucking idiot. Anyway, this year's not starting off good for me. I'm joking. Okay. I can take another drink here. Yeah, so Emil Hirsch. Who the fuck wants him to be an action star? When I'm looking at him, all I see is the combination of this fucking bratty douchebag I hate, who comes to the department store where I work, and he once paid for a Coke, like a Coke can with like the Swedish equivalent of $100 bill, and I'm like, fucking serious, man? You take your fucking preppy, like, you know, backcombed water ass hair out of here, douche. Anyway, Emil Hirsch looks like a combination of that guy, who is this also really short fucking dude that's kind of wide but still short, and Tom Cruise. And like, I guess Tom Cruise is still an action star. He's probably the oldest action star that isn't Arnold Schwarzenegger or Stallone or Bruce Willis at this point. So I'm like, but who wants him to be the hero of this movie? Like, when you have both his best friend, who's taller than him, and the best friend's, I guess, not love interest, but, okay, the two best friend characters, Max Minghella Ben, he is the guy that has put the money into this backpacker thingy. He's taller than Emil Hirsch, and Olivia Thirlby is the love interest of Emil Hirsch's character, Sean. Her name is Natalie. And Natalie has a friend with her who is Australian Rachel Taylor, and her character's name is Annie. But both Annie and Ben are taller than Emil Hirsch is. And Olivia Thirlby's shorter, but I guess that's the only thing that really matters, is that his love interest is not taller than him, because that doesn't work at all. But, oh my god, it's so annoying. And also, none of these characters seem to have any chemistry. Like, there are, and again, maybe they're the best of friends, I don't know. But it kind of feels like none of these actors are having a good time making this movie. And it doesn't feel like any of the characters really get to know each other, or care about each other. Like, you have these deep relationships where Ben and Sean are best friends, and Annie and Natalie are best friends. They love each other so much. And at the same time, because there are no scenes to back this up. There's nothing at all. There are no scenes where these characters even, like, really laugh. There are a couple scenes in the nightclub where they're acting like jackasses, but that's not the same thing as showing deep, you know, like, deep anchored feelings for another human being. There's nothing like that. And I would have loved to see a couple of moments where these people, even before the catastrophe falls apart, and it starts happening, and even, okay, not even more before, but before the catastrophe falls apart, and then it starts happening, and when the catastrophe has happened, I would like to see that reinforced. See scenes where, you know, we're just, Sean, like, Ben says that everything's fucked, and then Sean does a stupid joke, and they both laugh at it because, despite everything being horrible, they still have each other. There's nothing like that. There's no real connection. None of the characters have chemistry. Least of all, Olivia Thirlby and Emil Hirsch. The two have the fucking chemistry of a vat of acid and applying 3 drops of water to it. It's just like, I don't buy this. I know these are supposed to be characters that are supposed to have some sort of love connection. And thank God the movie never tries to jam it down your throat, but it's only because of the fact that the material you're working with is so bad that the actors have nothing to do. I'm not going to say any of these actors are bad, because they're not. I can't really judge them because of this. This movie doesn't have any scenes that give them any chance to show off their talent. You think the only person that actually managed to make any sort of impression was, and maybe I'm biased here, Swedish actor Joel Kinnaman, who plays... There are no, like, in the first half of this movie, there are no Russians. The only thing is that Ben and Sean are going to, like, pitch their idea to this Russian investment firm or something. And Joel Kinnaman's character, Skyler, has been the broker between these two. And because these two idiot Americans have not, you know, what is it, A-N-D or something, they have not signed they have not signed an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement, which means that Kinnaman has stolen their idea and doesn't have to give them shit, because they have not made any copyright protection on this. They don't own any of this. They've just shown it as their idea. So he screws them over, and eventually at the nightclub they have to join up because they become the 5 people that are alive. But my problem with it, like, and again, Joel Kinnaman is the only one who really does get to show off something, and literally the only thing he really gets to show off is the fact that even though I think he can pull off a really damn good American accent, he can pull off a perfect Swedish American accent as well, which makes me feel really kind of sad that he got one line in the American version of Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. He got one line. One of the few people that actually probably could have pulled off that stupid accent that Rooney Mara's trying to do. And don't get me wrong, I really liked her. I liked her more than the Swedish one even a little bit. Just a little. And he only got one line. It's so fucking tragic. And they even point out that he's not Russian. They even say stupid Swede at a point. I just wonder which kind of Swede's name is Skylar. I've lived here for the last 20 years and I've never met a Skylar in Sweden. But okay. My biggest problem there, again, with characters not really interacting the way that's natural, is that they establish that he screws these guys over. He even gets his date to this fucking club killed at a point. And again, this is not really spoiling anything, this is in the first half. But you know what? Okay, I have spoiled minor things. Very minor things at this point. I'm gonna say, this is a terrible fucking movie. Good actors, semi-decent effects, but their budget sucks, so they can't really be blamed for that. But it's boring, it has good camera work, and it's grey and dull because it's a grey and dull action movie, and even worse with the fucking glasses. It is the darkest hour because wearing these horrible pieces of fucking garbage on an already grey screen that mostly takes place at night makes it the darkest hour because you can hardly really see what's going on, and it gave me a headache in this dark fucking theater that was really, really hot. That's my fucking summation. But now I'm getting back to the spoilerific review. But anyway, he kills his date. He gets his date killed. He closes the door on her so the fucking cloud people get her. And then they run down into a fucking, like a cellar, like a food cellar, and they sit there for a week while everything goes to hell. And you see them arguing a little bit, but it's like, this guy screwed you over. I know neither, like, even if you had been on board, it wouldn't have mattered because the invasion still would have happened. But this guy pretty much stole your fucking work. I have a book on my laptop in my fucking living room, and if someone stole that thing, I wouldn't give a flying fuck if aliens would come down. I would be pissed off if I was stuck in a fucking room with that person for a week. He stole my work. He stole something I put my fucking time, like effort, and money into. And yet, there's no repercussion, there's never a point in the movie where they actually discuss or talk about this, where it actually comes up where these people don't really, like, it's obvious that these people don't really even like each other, or it's not even obvious, it's just, they're sort of neutral. As I said, the writing gives them nothing. None of these characters have any really moments. Like, the only person that really has anything worth mentioning as, like, distrust is Rachel Taylor's character, Annie. If you don't know who Rachel Taylor is by name, she is I think one of the 3 girls that was in the Charlie's Angels reboot TV show that just got cancelled. And to me, the only thing I've seen her in is she is the blonde hacker girl Australian hacker girl. She's Australian, by the way, if I didn't say that already. She's the Australian hacker girl from the first and the only good Transformers movie. And you know, the one who says, "Can we send a tone through the computer?" With fat Anthony Anderson. One of the few characters I thought they should have brought back for the sequel, which they didn't. Because she was too busy waiting for 2 or 3 years for The Darkest Hour to be made. But anyway, she and the only way you can, like, I don't want to say she overacts. Again, I can't even really judge her acting as much as the material and probably the direction of what she has to do with it. Like, she just walks around being like, "I don't trust these guys. I don't trust them. I'm scared." And she's sitting in a corner being hysterical as soon as something bad happens. And oh god, she's just so annoying. It's like if the other characters don't really have any sort of like real show of being in distress, that the entire, basically 95% of the world's population is just gone. She more than makes up for it by being the one that's shrill, annoying, and like, oh, I can't do it, I can't move, I have to stay right here, and I'm scared, ooh, I don't trust these people, I don't trust you, I don't trust you, I don't like you guys, ugh. It's like, everyone's dead, I hate this, I can't prolong the inevitable, I just want to sit here and die. It's so fucking annoying. And, okay, I've already said I'm going to spoil this, so let me put it like this. She dies. And when she dies, I'm like, oh, thank fucking God. And at that point, you're at least over the halfway through the movie. I think you're like an hour in or something. And this movie's only an hour and a half long. And by that, I mean it's probably an hour and 25 minutes if you don't count the credits. And I'm sitting there like, thank God she's dead. I wish she could have died sooner. And I shouldn't wish that. But fuck, I'm glad she's dead. Because at that point, they've also introduced like a Russian girl into the movie. It's funny that she comes into the movie and doesn't really get a whole lot of material to work with. But even without really saying anything, I'm like, oh, I hope this becomes the 4th person and they kill off the other blonde. And they did. And I'm like, fuck you. Fucking thank you, movie. Thank you for realizing that this character was fucking annoying. I'm reliving the experience. I need fucking alcohol. Which means I have to stop soon, because otherwise I'm just gonna go all like slurry. Yeah, I even have like the characters written here on my paper. Like I have the cast written first, and like I've written stuff like how Olivia Thirlby, she's cute but doesn't really get a whole lot to do. That's the only thing I can say about her. She's really, Olivia Thirlby is really, really cute. Maybe I'm not even pronouncing her name right. I don't even know. She's really cute. But I wish she would eat a sandwich or two, because both her and Rachel Taylor, who are both really, really... Like, Rachel Taylor, I guess, is more, you could say, traditionally beautiful, but I would still take Olivia Thirlby over her any day. But both of them are skinny. They need to fucking... Like, people in Hollywood need to start eating. They need to look like real human beings. If anything, the best thing about watching Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy a second time was, I was like, there are fat people in this movie. There are short people in this movie. There are ugly people in this movie. Dude! England fucking rocks, man! They have actual people in their films. In Hollywood, there's all these fucking ripped dudes. Like, you know, fucking Taylor Lautner and all that shit. I loved the fact that Tinker Tailor had real people in it. And this movie's like, Olivia Thirlby needs to gain weight. Rachel Taylor definitely needs to gain weight. I think she must have lost weight since Transformers, and she was beautiful in Transformers, but gain a few pounds. Normal, healthy human beings, I like the curves. And when I say curves, I actually like, you know, I like to see a full face. I don't like it when you can see craters on both sides of a person's face. Like, I do not like Rosie Huntington Whiteley or Whitley or how the fuck you pronounce her name. She's a horrible actress in Transformers 3, and her head looks like a fucking hourglass, because her fucking head is like, oh, it just pisses me off so much. I should just get back to this movie because I gotta get this over with. That's it. I'm just gonna go through my bullet points here. Okay, yeah, as I already said, the club part it was not a good intro. It's slow, it's annoying, and these characters show no chemistry. Like there's a club scene like a couple of club scenes, but especially one that really is reminiscent in Shame as well. But at least there you have a fucking character that's kind of funny, even though he's annoying as hell. That's the problem is, I can't believe I'm saying this. I can't believe I'm fucking saying this. As much as I complain about this, this movie needed a fucking comic relief character. Fuck. I've lost all hope. I am one of those people, I don't like comic relief characters, at least not when they're obvious, but honestly, if this movie had had some sort of, at least a character, not one of those Chris Tucker-esque characters that like runs off the mouth every time something happens, or something like that, but if it had had a movie that had, if it had a character that had a snap, like, you know, sort of like a quick reply whenever someone says something stupid, that would have been something. Here there is nothing. And I had a friend who hated the girl with the dragon tattoo because, the American one, because it was constantly trying to remind the audience where it was set. This movie takes that even further, because there are a couple of, we say, comic relief characters at the end, where they get Russian soldiers involved. And the Russian soldiers are constantly fucking reminding the audience, this is Russia, we will kill them with Russian bullets, I will stay in Moscow. Because I have Moscow at my back. This is my motherland, Russia. I'm like, yes, thank you. I know we're in Moscow. I knew that before I sat down in the seat that this movie would take place in Moscow. I cannot read the fucking signs, but I can see that it is fucking Russia. Oh, oh, it's so annoying. It's so stupid. Oh God. And also, I feel like a girl with a dragon tattoo, and again, why am I even really trying? It's, again, no, someone is probably going to comment and say, it's unfair to try to compare this movie to David Fincher. And yeah, of course it is. He had a bigger budget and everything. But Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, it filmed both the Swedish and the American version, filmed Stockholm and Sweden in general fucking beautifully. And I feel bad watching this movie because even though it is like it's ambitiously shot in some cases, it doesn't film Russia well. And I think that's what I think this movie honestly is the wrong genre to be able to film a city well. Like, how do you make a good, like, you made a review of Midnight in Paris. Midnight in Paris was a beautiful, like, you know, show of Paris. I think this movie would have been better, I think Moscow would fare better if it had been a spy espionage movie or a romantic comedy. A slow-paced film that shows Moscow as it is. Not a movie that shows just an empty city that's just gray, 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 and gray. Because that's all this movie is it's gray, and it's dark, and it's in 3D, so it makes it even darker because you have the fucking shades that are fucking dark too. I was sitting there like, man, I want to see Moscow someday, but if this is what Moscow is, and I knew obviously it wasn't, I feel sorry that I feel like, I wonder how many people, especially in the United States that see this movie, think this is what Moscow looks like. Like, Moscow's probably, and I hope, a beautiful city. Show that! And I know that I can see the director is a Russian, I think. He was trying, but it's the movie's fault. The movie is the wrong genre to be able to show Moscow as a beautiful city. Let's see, is there anything else I can say? Let's see. Yeah, you see, yeah, the ashes look fake. Oh, yeah, and I said that the running is like the happening. Oh, yeah, the two last things. Emil Hirsch, like his character just establishes himself as a douchebag right from the start. Like when they're on a plane and he's sitting there playing Dead Space, like the Dead Space iPhone game when they're gonna descend. And like, did EA pay to have the Dead Space iPhone game in this? If they did, who the fuck thought of that? And second of all, yeah, there's a flight scene that is completely unnecessary at every point. It's basically there to establish that Emil Hirsch is playing with his fucking phone, and then he doesn't turn it off, and then as he turns it off, or something, or puts it away, the plane goes dark because there's some lightning going on outside. And then basically, it's just so when the nightclub goes dark, immediately, like Ben, Max Minghell's character, can turn to Emil Hirsch and just say, "What did you do this time?" Having an entire scene that's unnecessary like that is just stupid. And also, exactly when he puts away his phone and the lights come back on and all that stuff, after the lightning's gone, he turns to Max Minghella and says, "I hate flying." It's like, if you hate flying, then don't play with your cell phone, you fucking idiot. He's sitting there like basically like, "Is there any proof that these things take down planes? Because I don't think so." And he's like, "I hate flying." He's like sort of trying to be nervous and stuff. I'm like, this guy's an idiot. He doesn't deserve my... He doesn't... Like, right from the start, I hated his character. And I hated him through the entire movie. There was not a scene where his character got my fucking, like, sympathy or I rooted for him. I sort of got sympathy for Olivia Thirlby. I got even a little more for Rachel Taylor, who was annoying. And honestly, I almost thought that Ben, Max Minghella's character, was the most, like, likable of the initial four. And then there are McDonald's signs. I guess there are McDonald's signs all over the place. You can't really read them because they're in Russian, but you obviously, you know, the golden arches are there, so you see that it is McDonald's, so any idiot can read them. Let's see, is there anything else I want to say? Because again, I don't really want to go into a plot point, like a plot point synopsis of this film. It doesn't deserve that. And by the way, I need to get this thing drunk before I go to bed. God, what more is there to say? The thing is, there are characters, like as I said, Rachel Taylor gets killed off, and there are more characters they meet along the way that get killed, and it just feels like, and then they meet up with other characters that actually stay alive through the entire film, and it's like, I don't care about any of them. I don't care about any of them because the script doesn't allow me to. And I know I didn't read any reviews. I saw the review scores that they were negative, and in a lot of cases they were actually more positive than I thought. They were like passable scores. And that almost disappointed me, because at this point I was like, oh man, you mean it's an okay film? I want it to be terrible so I can actually have a good time. And don't take that as me like having made up my mind about the movie going in. I hadn't. I could have given this movie a fucking I gave I Am Number 4 a 2, and that movie's worse than this. But this movie's like, but I Am Number 4 is still better but worse, because both that and Red Riding Hood are fucking hilarious movies, especially I Am Number 4. I saw I Am Number 4 twice. The second time I saw I Am Number 4, was when I got the Blu-ray, and I laughed my ass off, because that movie was terrible, but it was funny. And this movie isn't funny. This movie is not good. It's not suspenseful, it's not funny, it's not well made, it's nothing. It's just... It's like, you can tell the director's trying. I feel sorry for the director, and I feel sorry for the actors for not having better material to work with. It's a project, in general, just feel like it's bad because it's missed potential. Like, I mean, if you have $30 million and you can't really feel like you can make an effect for an alien with that money, I had a friend who said, then don't make that movie. But that friend was stupid. I love her to death. She's one of the closest people I have, and I love her so much. But when it comes to film, she doesn't know what she's talking about, because she was saying that in, with the movie she was talking about when I said about the budget thing, she was talking about Attack the Block, a film that had a £9 million budget, which I think turns around to, can't be more than $15 million, half of this movie's budget, and it had an alien effect that was great. Total Film voted it to, I think it was the second best creature design of the year. And I loved it. It was simplistic, it was brilliant. And it was also, Attack the Block, ironically, was probably almost my favorite movie of 2011. At least in the top 3. This movie is probably right now, at least in the down, I'm not gonna be mean. It's better than New Year's Eve, it's better than Gulliver's Travels, it's probably better than something else. It's not in the bottom 3, but it's down the top 5, top 10, something like that. It's a terrible movie. I might still be enticed to actually watch this. I will watch this rather than Breaking Dawn again, if only because this movie's only 89 minutes long. I would watch this before I watch Red Riding Hood again, I think, but that's only because I've seen Red Riding Hood twice, with both endings. But still, this is not a good movie. It doesn't use anything it has. It has a good idea that it doesn't really follow through with, because I think they did not have the budget or the script in place to be able to follow through with it. I kind of feel like these aliens, whilst very menacing in what just the general idea of what they can do is, they're fucking idiots, because they see a heat, like basically what they do is, you get to see from the aliens' POV a lot. Like they see everything in like black and white static, and they see like yellow and orange heat signatures when they see people. And they don't, like there's especially one moment when they're on this big this square. It's not the big square like outside the palace or whatever it is, but it's somewhere it's near there. It's like outside of that square. And like they're standing at this one lone police car, and there's a dog that gets disintegrated, and Emil Hirsch's character is like hiding behind a car. He's hiding behind a car. Like if the car is like all but like this, he just sticks out his head and just looks out. And the alien can clearly see this heat signature. And so the alien goes up, and you see like Emil Hirsch and Max Minghella hide under the police car, and he can't see through the car. And he just walks over the car, and there's no one there, so he just walks away. And it's like, he didn't put two and two together? He didn't look under the car? Really? These aliens are stupid. These aliens are... They're not stupid for the point, like for just to be stupid. They're stupid for plot convenience reasons, because the movie knows that if these aliens were intelligent, this entire thing would fall apart more than it already does. And God, I've already put too much effort into this thing, and I'm half drunk at this point. I have to work to keep myself together. But I've already started thinking more about this than I probably should. Oh my God, have I recorded that long? Oh shit. You know what? This movie doesn't deserve more of my time, I don't think. As I said, I've already put too much time into it. This movie's terrible. It's stupid. It has nothing to offer. If you want to see a movie that just shows how badly you can make something, then watch The Darkest Hour. Be my guest. But don't expect anything good, because it's not. It has some actors that are better than the movie's some of the movie's parts. Some of the bit players are good. Once the Russians get in, it's kind of okay. I actually there's this girl named Vika who gets into the movie kind of late, and I really liked her. Both as an actress and as a character. She was probably a better character. How the movie followed her, and followed her up to the point where she met up with the survivors, the movie would have been a whole lot more interesting. And the movie also sort of ends with not with a cliffhanger, but like an open ending for sequels. And I was sitting there like, not happening. No way. This movie's not getting sequels. It basically becomes like Gears of War meets Resistance Fall of Man, and it's like, no. Haha, no. This is not happening. Sorry, Olivia. Make better movies. I'll go see them, I promise, but fuck not this. No. That's it. I've talked for over an hour, I think. So, yeah. The Darkest Hour. It really was The Darkest Hour. Have fun, guys. I'm gonna make more reviews in 2012, I promise. Bye.